Hi everyone, welcome back to Healthcare 101, the show where we talk about everything you need to know if you work in healthcare. I'm your host Star, and on today's episode we'll be discussing musculoskeletal disorders. A musculoskeletal disorder refers to injuries or conditions affecting the muscles, tendons, ligaments, joints, and bones. These issues often develop over time from repetitive movements, poor posture, or long periods of sitting. In administrative work, this could mean conditions like carpal tunnel syndrome from typing, or lower back pain from sitting improperly for hours. For other professions within healthcare, it can mean back pain from awkwardly reaching to place linens on a bed, or standing in the operating room for hours on end. The key factor is strain on the body's musculoskeletal system. Our first guest today is Shivani, a workplace safety researcher. Shivani, please tell us, who's at risk of developing musculoskeletal disorders and why?
Thanks, Star. Basically, anyone who works at a desk for extended period is at risk. Repetitive motions like typing, clicking a mouse, or even writing can strain your muscle and joints. Workers who sit for hours with posture are also vulnerable to conditions like back or neck pain. Those that lift heavy items, stand for long periods of time, or frequently use awkward postures can also be at risk. Within healthcare, nurses, surgeons, allied health professionals, as well as administrative professionals. Additionally, workers in healthcare admin might experience more stress, which can tighten muscle and increase the risk of injury. The more frequently something is performed, the more stress placed on your body, and the less time you have to recover. To simply put, if you spend a lot of time seated on one position or do repetitive tasks without breaks, you're more likely to develop an MSD.
Thank you so much for your insights, Shivani. You've really shown us how susceptible we are to musculoskeletal disorders in our field. Now that we know what they are and who's at risk, I want to know how we can avoid them. So up next, we have Nasteha, a seasoned administrative healthcare professional and an ergonomics expert.
Hello everyone! I've worked in administrative healthcare for 30 years without even a little pain. I studied ergonomics, which is the study of the relationship between people and their working environment with a view to improving safety, ease of action, and efficiency. I'm sure you're all aware of how long you sit or stand in the same position, or repeat certain motions, or have your hands pressed against a sharp corner of the desk while you type. These are just some examples of common risk factors for MSDs. I'll tell you all my tips and tricks that kept me this healthy for this long. I start every shift with a warm-up to wake up my muscles and get my blood flowing. Once I'm seated, my posture is my priority. Your back should have a natural S-shaped curve to it with your elbows at a 90-degree angle on the desk and your feet planted firmly on the ground. I encourage you to adjust your chairs to fit these requirements. I always type with my wrists slightly elevated, and my biggest tip of all is taking breaks. A micro break of 2 to 3 minutes every half an hour is ideal. If you're constantly seated, stand up for a few minutes, stretch your wrists after a long bout of typing, try to interrupt the repetitions to rest those muscles and engage others. While prevention is the goal, it's still possible to injure yourself. Recognizing the symptoms is your best friend in that case. If you see swelling, redness, or difficulty moving a body part, or feel numbness, tingling, or pain, seek medical attention. The early stage of MSDs is treatable, but the later stage may not be reversible. The first step is education. The Government of Canada and the AHS have incredible resources online to inform you. Pay attention to your body and take care of yourselves.
Thank you so much, Nasteha. There's so many helpful tips we can take away from that. Today we discussed the realm of musculoskeletal disorders, who can be affected, and how you can prevent yourself from developing one. I hope you all learned something important today that will protect you in your day-to-day lives. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of Healthcare 101. See you all next week.